Hello everybody, I'm glad you're here today. Today is September 29th, 2024. In this video, I'm going to read to you a word I wrote while I was in worship to God. I wrote it on September 26th, 2024. I'm going to show you something, an item that you really need to make sure you have if you have any kind of storage bucket whatsoever. And I may even review a dream that Taylor had on May 1st about Cyprus. If y'all remember that dream. I don't know if the Lord will bring me around to this video or not, but that's what's going on in this video. Now, first of all, I'm calling this a red alert video because what is happening 90 miles from me, which is close. I mean, it's the city I go to. Y'all, you know, I live in the middle of nowhere, Texas, and so we have no medical support. We have very little. I should say very little medical support. We try to get to Lubbock as fast as we can. That's the big, Amarillo is another big city here in the Panhandle. But here is what's going on in Lubbock at University Medical Center. That's the hospital. Now that is our go-to hospital. That is our preference in the city of Lubbock. So we grew up, we grew up at UMC because our daughter, who was terminally and chronically ill, Amanda, that's where she had all of her surgeries. We would stay, there were sometimes we would stay 2 months in the hospital at UMC. So we're very familiar with that facility. Well, here's the thing. It was hit by a cyber attack. I believe it was last Thursday. So this is Sunday. As of yesterday, things were not up and running. Their whole computer system was down. There was no Wi-Fi in the hospital. Every patient that was in the hospital had their identity in peril or possibly stolen, compromised in some way. That was a possibility. They were not admitting any new patients, and they were diverting everything that wanted to come in to some other hospital. That is a huge, huge disruption to our area, because during COVID, y'all, the hospitals, y'all know because this may have happened where you were at. The hospitals in your area became full, and you had to, many of the people we knew were flown to Albuquerque or flown to Oklahoma City, away from their families, because there was absolutely no more room here. Y'all know what that is like. That is what was happening then, and I don't think it's to that point yet, but it could be very easily. So just think about it. Just think about it. When you're used to bringing up every patient's meds on a computer, and that's not available, the dosage, the time you take it, even down to the food, the meal service, dietary coming in, everything went back to paper. And then after it gets back up, everything from paper has to go back to the computer. I mean, it is a friggin' mess. And I feel sorry for the people who work there, but this is what we're facing. This is what we're facing. These attacks, a cyber attack. All right, that's the word, attack. There's some kind of animosity coming in from somewhere to here. All right. Now, I am not an expert on all that strategy and all that war stuff. There are many people who are eons above me in that regard. But I will say this, that is a threat to my life. Because if something goes wrong here in my life, in my family, if somebody falls and breaks their leg, which just happened, somebody in a massive car wreck, which just happened, somebody have a heart attack, which just happened, if those things happen, where am I going to go? Where are they going to take me? So I'm calling this a red alert because for me, it's a red alert. Now, that is not the only layer. That is on a personal layer. On above that layer, and y'all, I'm sorry if I don't mean to sound like I'm yelling. I'm not yelling. Y'all know I've been a little bit under the weather. Well, I'm feeling a little better now. So everything I've been like simmering on the back burner is like going to come out now. Okay. So, all right. So here's another thing that's bugging me. All right. Once again, we are seeing C-130s circling our town. We are seeing Osprey. We are seeing, Chinook helicopters. Again, we saw the 4 a couple of weeks ago. Had a friend this morning at church say, yeah, I saw 2 in formation go right over me. And that wasn't that time, it was another time. And I said, have you've lived here, you grew up here. Have you ever seen that? No, no. She'd never seen that. Now, granted, we have an Air Force base 40 miles away. So, but yeah, why now is the question. Why now? I think I know why. I think they are, once again, I'm hearing in the news cycle, and here's who I'm listening to: Steve Ram, Patrick Humphrey, Canadian Prepper. I kind of listen to survival, full spectrum survival. I sift him pretty hard now. I used to really, but anyway, doesn't matter. I tune into him every once in a while. Duramax World News is another one I listen to, so or read through. So those are who I'm listening to. All right, and what they are saying now is there are preparations from Homeland Security for the United States to get ready for a mass casualty event. Did we not hear about this in June? Do we not have people in this community here, viewers, who have come forth and said, hey, look what the military's coming to my little town, wanting to change this building into a hospital so we can land planes on the highway for the purpose of unloading casualties. So now that's being talked about more and more openly in the mainstream media. Also, the election, I'm like, I mean, yeah, whatever. Whatever happens with that, I don't know. That's just like a clown show that I kind of put on the back burner. And every once in a while, I pull the curtain back and go, what's going on in there? All right, yeah, done. Okay. So, yeah, the election is not my thing. It may be yours. It's not mine. I'm going to go vote. And then wherever the chips fall, they fall. And whatever happens, happens. I'm prepared. Now, the hurricane. Y'all, I don't know if it's Helene or Helen. I've heard both. But that is horrible. If you're caught up in that, I am so sorry. That looks awful. One of the things that occurred to me before this hurricane made landfall was I do not ever want to be in the panic. All right. I would rather, who was it this morning said, hey, it's better to panic before everybody else panics than to panic when everybody else is panicking. But panic's coming. There's no avoiding the panic that's coming, which I wonder about that. I don't know if that's true or not. I kind of tend to think that. But I've seen the panic. I saw the panic 4 years ago. Okay. I don't want to be out in it. All right. I'm not safe there. And so, call it panic, call it fear, call it prepping, whatever you want to call it. I don't really, everybody's got a different heart of the matter. I'm not judging you, and I expect you're not judging me. But I'm going to make sure I am shored up as much as possible, basically, because that's what the Lord's led me to do. All right. So, yeah, that's one of the first things I ever heard the Lord say to me: gather. And I was like, is it time to gather people and have a party? I mean, I didn't, which, could mean that. But then after a while, I thought, oh, no, that's what this means. Gather supplies. The FBI whistleblower. Did y'all hear him in front of Congress? Which I don't even know what it was about. What a crap show the FBI is, I guess. But that whistleblower was like, I've got a warning for the American people. And I'm like, okay, dude, you probably know what you're talking about since he's high up in intelligence. He said, I've got a warning for you. He said, make sure you are practicing your Second Amendment rights and you know how to defend yourself. Make sure you have friends that got your back in your little area, in your resource area, in your little circle. Make sure you've got support. Make sure you have enough food and water for 3 months. Make sure you're praying. Make sure you're praying. Seems like there was one other thing he said. I can't remember. But, yeah. He said, it's going to get bad. And I thought, wow. And he said, I'll be persecuted for saying this. I'm going to be in trouble. He said, but I can't not do it. And he said, spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I'm like, yeah, dude, you go. I think he was Catholic. But he did say, spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm like, okay, that's true and right. So that's another thing that happened this last week that I thought was like worth noting. Another thing worth noting, many of you are talking to me, emailing and in commenting about seeing military out on the highways and byways. You're seeing a lot of aircraft going over. I'm seeing so much aircraft going over. Thursday and Friday, this is Sunday, Thursday and Friday, there were so many C-130s. There were so many Osprey. In fact, I will tell you this. My daughter was in the town south of us, 30 miles south, and she called me and she said an Osprey just went over my car. It was so loud, Mom. She said people on the highway were pulling over on the highway to watch this Osprey, and they even got out of their cars to look at it. Okay, now let me tell you something. We're in the middle of harvest, all right? Most everybody around here is involved in it in some way, shape, or form. We don't have time to pull over and watch something go by. We're just not. So for that to happen, it means this is not normal. So don't tell me, oh, it's just training. Oh, I do think they're training, but they're training for something that's not normal, that's abnormal. Oh, yeah, it's training. Yeah, you got that right. They're training for something that's a-coming. Do you ever feel that way? Do you ever feel like you just are like, I don't think there's any more I can hold in here, because my apocalypse bingo card is full. It's full. Yeah. That's what my concern level is. All right. So, not to mention, but I am going to mention it. I don't know why people say not to mention, then they're just fixing to mention it. I'm going to mention this. There are troops being deployed to Alaska. Not many, like, I don't know, 130. But they've got HIMAR weapons going up. Now, I am not a weapons person. Y'all, NY Prepper is the other person I listen to regularly. So, NY Prepper is an expert on, or knows a lot about wartime and nuclear war. Go to his playlist and go through his nuclear war survival videos. They're like good. Just put them on and vacuum, do your chores, wash your dishes, whatever, but listen to them. Okay, listen. It is excellent information. And I will say shout out to, I know I just mentioned Steve Ram, but Steve Ram is doing a pretty good job. He was kind of bumpy at first when I first started watching him, but he's really hitting a stride now. I appreciate what he's bringing to the table. It's helping me. It's helping me. And I like how he does it, like, hey, I'm just bringing you the headlines as they come out. And so they may or may not be accurate. He makes that clear. So, but yeah, why, when they say, oh, now I get it. I get this. Russia and China, their planes going back and forth up there, and every once in a while we scramble our planes. I know that that's normal. I know that that happens. But there's something different now, because I do not remember them deploying more troops up there with HIMAR weapons, okay? And I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly. Somebody needs to probably correct me in the comment section. But I do realize they're like they're missile related. They're able to shoot missiles. So that seems odd to me. There are ships in the Pacific that belong to China and Russia that are kind of moving towards Alaska, is my understanding. I don't know. Goshen Prepper, another guy I listen to, has said, look, if you see them and they're talking about them, those aren't the ones you need to worry about. You need to worry about what you can't see. All right? And I'll tell you one more thing. Well, I'm going to show you this right quick, and then I'm going to tell you one more thing that's like bugging me. Y'all, if you don't have one of these, you need to get one, all right? This pries open your food buckets, all right? And you're probably going to need to practice with it. It's just a bucket opener, a bucket, I don't know, pry thing. I don't know. Once you seal your big food grade buckets with a hammer, you're going to need something like this to get them off. So, and you're going to need somebody strong to be able to pry it off with good wrist, finger, hand strength. So, you might look, these aren't very expensive. Get it on Amazon, all right? So that's my little tip for the day. I had to use that yesterday. Not going to lie, I said some cuss words because it was not working very good, but then once I got it going, it did start working. Now then, Cyprus, all right? Oh, y'all, we're running out of time. If y'all remember, and I'm not going to read the dream because I'm not going to have time, but in this journal, this is my spring 2024 journal. So I write down what the Lord tells me to when I worship and pray about it. And you know, y'all, yeah, I am human. The Bible is the supreme word of God. I am not. But when the Lord talks to me, I write it down. And then when the Lord gives us dreams, we write them down. And I would encourage you to do the same. It's unbelievable how many details you forget unless you write it down. So on May 1st, 2024, this was Taylor's dream. My daughter, she's 30. She's a nurse. She wrote this down, and I think we'll read it in another video, maybe. I've already brought it to you a couple of times. She even came on here and talked about it. It has to do with an EMP over Cyprus, and it's during Thanksgiving. I dreamt it was Thanksgiving. That's the first sentence. I don't know if that's a time or if that's an attitude we should always have, because not every dream is literal. Not every element of the dream is literal. Sometimes it's symbolic. So same with the EMP over Cyprus. I know that I'm hearing Cyprus in the news now nearly every day. That's from NY Prepper and these other people I mentioned. All right. Now, when she dreamt this, we said Cyprus. That's in the New Testament. Paul was on the Isle of Cyprus, and Paul, and he was in the book of Acts. Okay. So that was I said, it's in the Mediterranean, but where? Well, now I see it's in the Mediterranean right next to Lebanon. What? Did Hezbollah just declare war on Israel and its allies? Yeah, it did. And I'm like, well, it looks like everybody's dead that could lead y'all to war. I don't know. That big assassination happened. The leader is taken out during Netanyahu's speech at the UN. I was like, well, I mean, if you're going to do something, do it big like that. Okay? Or go home. Yeah, go big or go home. Come on. I live in Texas. That's how we live. We're also, my husband, I can't talk too long or I won't have time to do this. My husband was telling me, he said, a lot of people, oh, there's Taylor, she's coming home. A lot of people are, when it comes to Texas, they do not, the independent mindset of the Texan is not like all the other states. And so a lot of times the thought is that there will be second guessing before Texas is attacked but I don't know if that's true or not. But we do have a lot of weapons here, and we do know how to use them, and we do have an attitude of, you gonna mess with me? Come on. Now, is that biblical? Is that God? I don't know. That's something I'll probably have to reflect and pray about. But yeah. So I don't know how I got off talking about Texas, but I don't know. I did. So here we go. Y'all, this is a long, heavy word. All right. So I want to just begin now, and we'll just read to the end, and then I'm going to sign off because I'm going to start planning some Christmas fun. I know. We are at war. We're at World War, but that's not going to stop Gina from looking at Christmas stuff today. Okay, here we go. September 26, 2024. Y'all, and one more thing before I write this, please, in the comment section, if you have any prayer requests, write them down. We will pray for you. Sometimes I forget to say that. September 26, 2024. Write this down, my daughter. You see in colors. You learn by pictures. You remember by stories. Let me paint you a story picture of your nation. Inside a framework of hope and freedom, your nation was drawn. A far from perfect foundation formed by flawed men. This nation of yours, built like brightly lighted bricks, shone strong and high. A lighthouse perched on the highest mountain. No, this nation did not follow me. No, even the early kings of this nation did not follow me. Some attempted, some tried, but this now I say to you is not there in sight. I am letting you see this picture. The lighthouse on the mountain peak, within a frame of freedom, allowed for many to learn of me, worship me, speak of me. But now, but now, the evil of your nation, the sins so flippantly participated in by the citizens of your nation, the kings of your nation, lay down with the dogs and get up with fleas. In time, your kings become the dogs themselves. Evil with black hearts, sadly, oh so tragically, what bit of me was inside your nation has been pushed out by choice, by free choice, causing sin to pile up like rubbish at the base of the mountain. And now, my dearest one, now the trash pile of evil from your nation's sinful ways, sin-filled ways, has covered up the mountain until even the lighthouse is blanketed by the litterings of sin. No light can be seen. Lost ships stay lost, for your nation has said, we are God. We decided what we wanted. We decided our fate. We know more. We know best. With one breath, I would blow the trash, the rubbish of sin from the mountain, from the lighthouse, if only your kings, your nation would stop and turn to me. But there is no nation of that among your people. There is no notion of that among your people, among your kings. Therefore, I let you, America, live with who you have chosen. The consequences of that choice is death. The picture, which was once light and color-filled, is now dark on dark. Even its canvas bears the claw marks of the beast of your nation. But hear this now, my child. The remnant is my lighthouse, still shining brightly, so brightly in the storms of war, in the darkness of destruction. You are still as you have always been, the light that says, this way. Here, right here with God, is peace and safety. A port in the wicked storm, the raging seas. God is light. In him is no darkness. So you see, child, even though the fate of your nation is difficult at best to live through, I am, the great I am. And you then, you the remnant, are my people. I remove my hand from nations, but I always cover my remnant. Nothing can shade the light radiating from the souls who have chosen me. Well done, good and faith-filled servants. You are covered by my grace. Dwell then in the shelter of my presence. And that was that. So, y'all, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm sorry y'all had to hear the shaking of the garage door when Taylor came home, but it's okay. That was not a drone or anything else. It was just my garage going up. Y'all, do what you need to do to get as close to Jesus as you can. Choose him as your Savior. He's the answer to everything. Stay safe, America. This is Gina Lima Charlie. I'm out.